Good day, everyone. Welcome to Beginners Focus YouTube channel. If you have ever wondered or wanted to create your own application, I mean Android app, but you thought to yourself that this is too complicated, you don't have the basic knowledge like some of other tutorial will require you to have, I can say congratulations to you, because in this particular tutorial, or the tutorial we're giving in this channel on Android and web development, they are going to be for absolute beginners, just like the name of this channel states, beginners focused. So we are going to be explaining each line of codes for you, and we are going to be building something responsive and something that works very fine. So I say you are in the right place. All right, so today I'm walking through the entire process step by step. Even if you have never coded before, we're going to be building our first Android application. And what are you going to be achieving, or what will you achieve in this particular tutorial? Number one, you will learn how to use the Android Studio IDE to develop an application, an Android app per se. Then you also learn how to create a new app using the Android Studio IDE. You learn how to code and instruct, how to navigate from one page to another, how to create the splash screen that is being displayed on an Android application, how to automatically navigate from one page to another, then how to add transition, that is animation effect, to object in Android Studio. Alright, so if you have watched the first video that I dropped on how to install and set up Android apps, that is the Android Studio IDE, then you have a problem. But if you have not watched that video, please refer back to that video so that you won't miss out. Alright, now the next thing is I'll click on my Windows button and I'll open Android Studio from here. So I'll just type in Android Studio. So since I have it installed, this is it. I'll just click on open and I'll wait for this to load up. So my Android Studio will be loading up. So once it is fully loaded, you can see it's loading on the screen. And once it is fully loaded, we'll see what is the next thing that we need to do. All right, stay with me. All right, now, in your own case, you will have all this listed. These are the previous version of my Android apps that I've created on this system. I specifically set up this new system so that I can take it from scratch. All right, so the first thing we need to do is to click on this new project. And once I click on new project, I will have this new project windows popped up. So you make sure that you select the empty views activity, because we are going to be creating from scratch, just like I said. So then you click on the next button. Then we want to give our app a name, and the name of my application will be daily motivational quotes, or let me just say daily quotes. Yours can be daily prayer app, yours can be daily whatever you decide to do. It's going to follow the same procedure as what I'll be doing. So if you decide that you want to have daily prayer app on your as your own project, no problem, it's going to follow all through. You just make sure that you maintain the same name all through your code. So in the place where I'll be using daily quotes, you'll be using daily prayer, and if yours is daily motivation, just make sure that you have it in that way. Then make sure that in the package name area, these deals in your own case might be example. Remove the example and use a brand name, any name that you fit good for it, and that is that. Then this is the part where your project will be saved. Leave the programming language as Java for now. We'll be using Java because since you're an absolute beginner, excuse me please, we'll focus on using Java because it's more like plain English and it will be easier for you to understand. And make sure that this is Android 24, API level 24. And for now, for the sake of those that are just starting out, I will use Groovy DSL. You can see that it says we use Kotlin, which is the recommended one. But for the sake of those that are just getting started with Android development, I will stay with Groovy DSL. Right now, the next thing is to do is to click on finish, and this will begin to load all our resource files, begin to generate all the files that are needed for our package. So let's just sit back and enjoy this. All right, now after your interfaces are fully loaded, just like we have it on screen here, the next thing we are going to do actually is to remove some lines of this code. For example, we are going to delete this line, we don't need it, and I'm going to remove this line as well, I don't need it. Okay, before we proceed, the next thing I'm going to do is, since this first activity that we have in our code is going to be our startup page, I don't want to have it as main activity. Rather, I want to have it as stacked activity. So I will know that it is. Click on this Java, click on this, then right click, then select refactor, rename, then change this to start activity. So this is going to serve as my splash screen, that is the first animation screen. So after I have changed that, the next thing I need to do is to come to layout file, right click on this, select refactor as well, then rename to activity start. Okay, so now this has been modified correctly. All right, so the next thing I need to do is to define or design the layout of my start activity. So I'll select this split panel so I can have my view and my code side by side. So now let me zoom up with this plus sign so I can see what I'm designing. Okay, and just restore down a bit. All right, so now the first thing I'm going to do is to change this constraint layout to linear layout. So I'm just going to use linear layout, and this is what I'll have. And for linear layout, you must I want to remove this line, I don't need this line. For linear layout, you must have an orientation for how your page is being displayed. So I'll set vertical because I want them to be displayed straight down in this manner, not side by side. All right, so the first thing I'm going to add is an image view. So I'll just type image view, and I'm going to set it to match parent for the width, which means that it's going to take the entire width of my app and my phone screen. Then the next thing is the height. The height, I'm going to set it to 250 dimension pixels for now. Then after that, I'll press the enter and press SRC, which is talking about the source of where I'll be getting my my image file. So I'll say at drawable, because images are always in the drawable folder. So drawable slash whatever image that I'll be putting in there will be this one that I type in here. All right, so first of what I want to do is to come to my download folder and copy the image I would like to use. So I have the image I would like to use there, which is this one. So I'll just copy this image, then come back to the drawable folder, right click and click on paste and press OK. So now I have that file. So now when I come to this my line in the image view, when I press this, I can have my image file show up there. Okay, so that's for my image file. So the next thing I want to do is I want to add spacing between my image file and the next item on that line. So I'll say margin bottom, and I'm going to just add 20 dimension pixel. So I'll press the backslash to actually close that. Now when you look at our app interface, you see that this image is towards the top. Okay, before I fix that, let me just add a scale type to my image, and I'm going to use center crop, which is this. So now come back to the parent container, which is the one that houses all the content on the screen, and I'm going to set my gravity, yes, my gravity, sorry, gravity to center. So which means that all the elements I'll be putting inside this container will be to the center of the screen. Okay, so what else? So after this, now I'm going to add another text file, text v file, and the what's it called, the width will be wrap content, the height also will be wrap content. Okay, and the text that I want to have there, I can say maybe welcome to daily quote app. Okay, or motivate yourself with a daily quote app, whichever way you want to have it. Then I can decide to set the size of my text if that text is too big. Okay, so you can see that it's very tiny in here. I can set the size of my text, come here and say text size, and I will set it to 17 sp. Okay, that is what I'll have for that. You can see it's now kind of bigger, and there's a spacing between the image and the text. Okay, so I'll press the backslash icon, yes, to actually close that line. So the next thing I'm going to have is I'm going to have what's it called, a progress bar to actually show that this page is loading when this pop up. So I will just press progress bar, and the width of my progress bar is 50 dimension pixel, and the height of my what's it called, progress bar is also 50 dimension pixel. Then I'm going to add a line called indeterminate tint, that is to set the color for my load, for my progress bar. Now I assign black here, and you can see that it's showing black. Peradventure you don't want black, you can just click on this black here and click on custom to set the color that you want for your progress bar. Okay, so if you're okay with that, just move out. Then the next thing is my text and the progress bar are too close together. So for my text I can add margin bottom, or for my progress bar I can add margin top. If I add margin top to the progress bar, it means that it's giving a space at the top before this, after this text, and if I'm having margin bottom to this, it means that it's having a space before this progress bar. So whichever way. So I'm having margin bottom, and I'm giving it 20 dimension pixel, so it will give a 20 dimension pixel space between the text and the progress bar. All right, so now we can save this. Oh, before I go, for each of our item here we have to apply an ID. This ID is what we use in our coding to identify which of them we are calling at a point in time. So for my image view, I'm just going to call that daily prayer image, img. Okay, that's so whenever I need to reference this image file, I will just call this daily prayer image. Then for this text also I have an ID. I'll apply an ID too and call that one. I'll just call this splash message. Alright, so this is the name I'll use to call this text anytime I need to call this. Then for my progress bar, I'll just give it an ID and say progress in bar. So I have now an identifier for all of them. So when I need to reference this in the Java file, I will just have to call on all this name I stated in the ID area. All right, then you look at this text area, you see that I'm having this yellow line and it says I need to add code this. But eventually you don't have this extra string option in your own. All you just have to do is come to the value tab here, and you will see a file called strings.xml. When you come there, you can just add a new string in this manner. Just open brace, type in string tab, then give it whatever name you want to give it. Let's say for example sign up btn, then close that tag. In between will be the text you want to actually show up. For my case, I'll just type in sign up. The reason why I'm doing this is because I already declared one for this. So for my welcome text, if I'm going to change my welcome text, instead of having this text here, I can just cut it out and have it in my string file. So I can just come here and paste this here. So now how do I reference it in my layout file? Just type at string / welcome text, so that particular name that I gave the string file here. Okay, so now having said that, let's proceed with our design. So now we have all our layouts set up. So the next thing I want to do is, since we are going to be having an animation for this what's it called, for this startup page, that is the splash screen, I want to create an animation file so that I'll be able to apply the animation I need to apply to my page. All right, so now how do we go about that? Come to this res folder, right click and click on new. When you click on new Android resource directory, and under the resource type just type in anim, select anim and click on OK. So this will create an animation directory for you. So now once that is created, right click on anim, click on new file and click on new animation resource file, and the name for our animation resource file will be bottom to center.xml. Okay, so I'll just click on OK. So right here we want to create our animation file, that is the animation that will be attached to our image, our text in the splash screen. Okay, now let's proceed to creating that. Okay, to create our animation file, one, I will just come here and type in this particular line. I have to improve this. Okay, Android, and you have this interpolator. Okay, when you have that, you have at Android also. Then the first one, this first option, anim, accelerate, decelerate, interpolator. Don't worry, I'll explain all of this line by line. So let's just go on and write all of our animation file, then I will take my time to explain it line by line. So let's just go on and do that. All right, let's click on Ctrl S to save. Now that we are done with our animation file, now let me explain this line by line. Okay, let's take it line by line. The first line that we have there is XML version 1.0 encoding UTF-8. This is just a standard line to say that this file is written in XML and it uses UTF-8 encoding. That is a way of handling text. Okay, the next line says set. Okay, set XML X and then Android, whatever, like that. This is the start of the animation, and the set tag groups multiple animations together. And here what it's saying is that I'm going to define a set of animations that happen at the same time. Okay, then the next thing we have is XMLX Android. Okay, this part is just a technical detail to show that we are linking our file to the Android systems. Okay, then this other line, Android interpolator, what that explains, all this line that we have here, is that this defines how the animation speed up and slow down. You can see we have accelerate, decelerate, interpolator. It explains how the animation speeds up and speed down, just like a moving vehicle that starts slow then speed up ahead of the time. Okay, so then we have the translate section. This is the first animation in this set. It moves an object from one position to another, and when we have from Y data 100%, this means that the object starts from 100% below the screen, that is below the screen, and it moves towards the top. That is what this 0% is. This 0% means that it is returning back to its exact position. And if you look at our stats, you see that they are all at the center. So it starts from the bottom and move to the center of the screen. So that is what that is explained. Then we also have alpha. This is the second part of the animation, and we have from alpha 0.0. This means that the object completely fade off to 0%, and this particular line that has 1.1 means that then it actually become visible in this number of in this duration, that is 2500 milliseconds, which is 2.5 seconds. So that is what all this line says. So now we want to apply this animation to these elements in our startup page. So let's go back to the startup activity. So in our startup activity now, the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'll make sure that I attach a variable to all of these two, so that I can call them in my class file. So the first thing I will do is I will find those views. Let me say find views. Okay, so the first thing I have there is an image view. So I will say, sorry, not that image view, this image view, this one. Okay, then what name do I give it here? I give it this name here, this name here. So I'll just say, I will just copy it and come back here and say, oh, you can see it have it here already. So I'll just hit the tab button. But peradventure you don't have it, just type daily prayer if that's the name you gave yours. But in my own case, I'm going to be using daily quotes. Daily prayer was the one I used in the first version of this app. So but in this version I'll be using daily quotes, so I'll set it to daily quotes. Okay, all right, so let's get back here. So then we do the same thing for our text view. Oh, you can see it already show for my text view, but peradventure you don't have it, just type along with me. So I have text view, okay, TV splash, whatever, TV message. Is that the name I use? No, I'm not sure. I think it's TV splash message splash underscore message. Okay, equal to find v by id, then r dot id dot that name cv slash message. All right, so now you see I'm having this red one here. Just over and click on import this. Something is actually wrong here, probably. Okay, that's not the name, sorry, I have changed the name, so it's going to be quotes. Okay, you can see the error is gone. So the next thing I want to do now is to load my animation file. So load animation. All right, so to load my animation, what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to call the animation class, then attach a variable for it to load my animation. So that's just what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to have animation. Make sure you are calling this animation class. So animation, I'm applying a variable bottom bottom to center equals to animation utilities, this one here. Okay, so that's dot load animation. So it already called this bottom to center animation file that we created in the anim directory. Something is wrong with this name. I need to confirm what is wrong. Okay, let me just go back to the stats file daily. Let me copy this to be sure I'm having the right reference. All right, so since I've confirmed that is the name, just leave it, we'll fix that later. All right, so let's go on. Now that we have loaded the animation, the next thing is to apply the animation. We apply the animation, sorry, to our items there. Okay, so we want to apply the animation to the image view. So the image view is by this name, daily codes image. So I'll just call, you can see it already have the code written for me here. So all I just have to do is just say daily codes dot start animation bottom to center. What this means is that this daily image, this image, I am attaching this animation bottom to center to it. Then I will do the same for my text view also, and that is that. I am not animating the progress bar because I just want it to be loading in that way. So the last thing I want to do is, after this animation has fully loaded, I want to move to a new screen. So move to, once this animation has fully loaded, I want to move into another page, which is my login page. Unfortunately, I don't have my login page yet, so I'm going to create my login page. Okay, after 3 seconds of loading. So now before we continue that, right click on Java, click on new, click on activity and select empty activity, then change the name of this to login activity, because once the animation is fully loaded, we want to navigate to the login page. Okay, so now let me click add the code to move from this animation page to the login page. Okay, so I have this new handler. Sorry, there's a mistake there. Handler. Okay, so this is the handler we are using here. Excuse me, please. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to have a 3 seconds delay. So I will call on the post delay, this particular one. So here I'll have a delay minus greater than. So we have all of our code here. So when this it is called, it's, you can see that I have my entire code finished. So what happens here is this: we apply an handler that will actually cause a delay, a 3 seconds delay, and after this delay is going to move from this page to the login activity. So that is what we have there. Okay, there's a mistake here that I need to fix. I need to fix that one. Okay, so that is fixed. So the next thing I want to do is, after this activity has completed, I want to see what's the error. Okay, I want to make sure that this is delayed for 3 seconds, which is 3000 milliseconds. So then I will close that. Okay, so now let me see if there's any error before I explain this line of code. Okay, now there's no error. Now let me take my time and explain each of these code line after line. Now in the since you're all new to Android development, I need to take this one after the other. Now the import statement at the top here, import all the classes, all the dependency that are needed for this application to run perfectly right. Then you have public class start activity extend app compatibility. This define the start activity class, which is the splash screen. Okay, then you have at override and all of this. It indicates that the method that will be calling in the onCreate method here, this onCreate method, it's overriding this method. It means that everything we are going to be writing is inside this particular area. All right, then we have super onCreate save instance. This called the parent class onCreate method to set up how our activity look like, just like we have described here. Okay, then you have this image view daily whatever. I have assigned a variable. Okay, I'm taking this class, this image view class, and I'm applying this variable to call on the image in my design, and I did the same for the text. Then I've explained this, that I'm calling the animation class, applying the animation that will be needed as defined in our bottom to center file here. So then we apply the animation to our image and our text at the same time. Okay, so then we have new handler dot post and all of these. Okay, this creates a delay of 3000 milliseconds, that is 3 seconds, after which this the code that is inside this one will run. Start activity means that we are going to move from this present page, which is start activity, to another page, which is login activity. So if at this stage, if you save Ctrl+S and you come to your menu here under build and you decide to select build application and you run it on your phone, it will actually display the application and the animation. Then it will, excuse me please, it will open the login page, which is this here. And on the login page, you currently have nothing defined there, so it should just open a blank page. All right, so in the second aspect of this video, we are going to be looking at how to create the login and the sign up page. All right, let's continue. So now let's begin to code and design our sign up activity. So before I come to the Java file, I'll come to the layout file and click on the split so I can see my design and the code here. Just to save myself this time, I'll just paste this code here and I'll explain it line by line to us. All right, so first off, let me zoom up this page so that you can see what I have here. In my sign up page, I have the email field and the password field, the the sign up button, and I have this other text. Okay, I need to change this color from white to black so that it becomes visible. So I have this other text which is black. Okay, let me zoom up so you can see what I have here. So I have the email field, the password field, the sign up button, and this other text here. So I'm going to change the weight of this to 388 dp for now, and I think I will do the same for the input feed. Okay, that is set already. All right, let me clearly explain what I have. My parent container, which I've explained earlier, which is the size of the entire screen, is this one here. I started with a linear layout which allow items to follow each other in the order that you have insert them. For example, this will come before this other one. So in my parent container, I set the width to max parent, which means that it's going to have the entire width of my phone device. Then the height also the same thing. Then the orientation, that is in the order which this item follow one another, is vertical. They will start from the top to bottom. If I change this to horizontal, you will see what happens. You see that you can't see the element. That's because they are stacked in this direction. So I don't want to have that actually. So I want it to have to be vertical. Then gravity center, if I decide to remove this line, you will see what happened. They start from the top of my phone screen. You can see they are all shifted to the top, but no, I want them to be to the center of my device. So that is what gravity to center actually does. Then padding 16 is this spacing here. Let's zoom up. This spacing before the item or the content in my on my screen, this little space here, the margin here, the padding here is 16. If I remove that, you see that all my elements will be touching the walls of my screen. So let's zoom down again. Okay, you see that they're almost close. Assuming I set this to match parent, you see that it will be touching the walls of my mobile phone, and that is not what I want. So that is why we have to add a padding, this padding of 16. It adds to the top. When you have padding 16, it means that it is up, bottom, left, and right. But if I don't want to have it in this way, if I just want to code it one after the other, I can have padding top, padding right, or padding start for padding left and padding end for padding right, then padding top and bottom. All right, so that is a long way of actually declaring my padding. Okay, so I move to this other input feed, which is this email feed, edit text. Edit text is a widget that allows user to enter text or any content inside this field. Okay, so I assign an ID to it called email sign up. Then I set the width to 388 dimension pixel. Then I set the height to wrap content. Setting the height to wrap content means that it should not be bigger than the content that will be contained in there. Then I set the minimum height of this field to 48 dimension pixel. The margin bottom, that is the space before this password field. So if I decide to remove this, you see that they are very close to each other, just like you can see. So I don't want that. I want there to be a spacing between them, so I set margin bottom to 20, and the kind of text that can be entered into this feed, I set it to text email address, which means that this feed can only hold email address. Then the int, that is the text showing inside there that will allow user to know what to enter there, is email. Okay, then I move to this other area, and you might be wondering how I type in this. All I just have to do is this. Okay, let me just come to this next line. I just have to say text input layout. So once I need to start with a brace bracket. So I'll type text capital text input. So you have this this option already, so just double click it, then you have it. So you can set all the options that we have set in here. Our width is 388 dimension pixel, our height is wrap content. Then end icon mode means that we want to add this this visibility toggle to our password field. That is, user can decide to hide the password or show the password. So that is what this end icon mode, that is what it does. Then margin bottom, the space before this button, we set it to 20, and the int, the text showing here, we set it to password. Then we have to have text edits. So this one is inside of this container. This is the one that actually allows us to type into this field. The reason why we have this initially and we did not use edit text as we use for email is because we want to enable this password toggle, and it's not available for edit text. Okay, so now, and we have all of that. So let me just remove this additional one that I add here. Okay, followed by the button, the sign up button. We apply a class to that. Excuse me, please. We apply a class, an ID called sign up button. Then the width is also 388 dimension pixel. The height is wrap content, that is, we don't want it to be too high. Then the minimum height is 48 by default. and margin bottom 20, that's before this text. Then the background color is this that we have set. Oh, you will see that this background is not showing. I have a red background set and it's showing a different one. Whenever you have issues like that, just make sure you come to your value folder, which is under this res directory. So click on themes and open your themes file. Okay, make sure that your theme, the under this style, name, base, whatever, change this theme to okay, theme dot app contact dot no action. I don't even want this light on no action, but just this. Okay, so when you change this to this and you go back to your sign up page, you can see that this is not showing yet, but this is actually going to come up. I will do the same for the other theme file, which is that of the night. So I'll come here and change this to theme.appcontact app compact no action bar. So then I'll click on save. Then now when I navigate back to this page, I'll just have to sorry, okay, you can see that this is already showing in red. So now let me go to my parent container and set my background color here to white. So I'll just send my background to color white. So we have what we have before now. So the only thing that is happening here is that you can see that we cannot see our int for the email and password field. So come back to this int and say okay, text color int, and we set the color to black. Okay, and that is not really, oh sorry, something is missing. Android, I don't know why that is skipping. Okay, so that is that. Then we want to set tint color sorry, text text color int. I think that was what I defined earlier. Okay, text color int, we want to change the color to black. Okay, that will fix what we have there. So you can see that this email feed is now showing. So in fact, I don't need this other line. Then one thing I realized here is that this email is too close to the starting of this container. So I have to add a padding. So I'll add padding start or padding left, whichever one. Padding start, I'm going to add 10 dimension pixels. So this shifts by 10 dimension pixel inward. Then I'm going to have padding end also 10 dimension pixels. So I'll just copy these 3 lines of code that I write here and I'll add it to my password field so that is also taken care of. Okay, sorry, that's the wrong place. So I'm going to add it here. Okay, so we have that already. I'm going to remove this padding. Okay, good. All right, so that is for that. Now, so let's go on and write the Java code for the sign up page to make our sign up page works fine. Okay, now before I go there, I want to see if there are any issues with my sign up page. So there are no issues. There are no issues. All these are just something we can do it. All right, so now let's go back to the sign up Java file so that we can write the code to make that work. Okay, so first off, as usual, I will remove these lines, and I'll also remove this line. I don't need it. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do actually is to connect our our widget. So we have the email field, which is an edit text. We have this other one, which is text input field. So I'm just going to come here and okay, where is it? My sign up page. So inside this area, I'm going to have private. Okay, then I'm going to have edit text. So the first edit text I have, the name I assign here is, let's get back to the email field. The name is email sign up, this one here. So I'm just going to copy that, come back to my sign up and say email sign up. You can see, so we have that already. Then I also have password sign up. So okay, so I've declared those 2 input field. So the next thing I'm going to have is I'm going to declare my button. So I'm going to say private button, and that is sign up button, but I have to be sure that's the name I apply to that. Let me import this class. So let me go back to my sign up page and confirm the name assigned to this. So it is sign up whatever. So then this text view also, I'm going to reference that also. So then I have private text view login direct. Okay, so I just have to import this text view class. Okay, whenever this is not working, I'll just have to take it again. Text view and login direct. Okay, so I have these three fields declared already. Now I have to attach them to the right file in the layout file. Okay, so to do that, all I just have to do is I have to call on the class. Okay, I just need to close all of this to avoid distraction. Okay, so let's focus on here. So I'll call the first one, which is email sign up, and I'm going to say equals find view by ID. It should be used with this by now, dot email sign up, because that's the name we want to call. So I'll just say dot email sign up. Okay, then I have this semicolon. So I'll do that for all of that field also. So password, I'll do this. So I have done that for all of that. So in this way I am linking each of these variable to the layout file in our layout file there. Okay, so now let's proceed with our code. So then I'm going to also have another class. Okay, before we proceed, since what our user record after sign up will be saved in Firebase, which we are going to be using as our back end, we need to come here to tools, click on Firebase, and we need to set up two things. First off, we need to set up Firebase real-time database. So I will come here and look at this is real-time database. So get started with real-time database. Just click on it, connect to the database. So this will open in your browser, and let's just go on and see. All right, so I'll click on create a project, a new project, and we'll give it the name of our app. Okay, so just make sure that this name is a name you can remember, or the name of your app. So once you've done that, you click on continue. So click on continue, and for the purpose of this training, just disable this for now and click on create project. Okay, excuse me. Alright, you can see your Firebase project is ready. Click on continue, and this will open the Firebase console. Okay, so click on connect. Now you can see it says your Android Project Studio is connected. So I'll just click back here and say Firebase. I'll just go back to Firebase console, and let's head back to our Android Studio. You can see that this says connected, but we need to add all the dependency that is needed to use real-time database in our project. So I'll click on add real-time database SDK. So I'll click on accept, and this will be added to my project. Okay, so and this we just synchronize, just wait for that to be done, and once it's done, we'll be able to call and use real-time database in our project. So while that is going on, another thing that we need to actually add in our project is authentication. This one here, we need to add it in our project as well. So I'll just go on with authenticate using a custom authentication system. Okay, but let's wait for this to complete synchronization, then we proceed to the next part. So while that is going on, let's head back to Firebase, and I'm going to click on daily codes. So now that we've added dependency for real-time database, you click on build, Okay, you click on build and you click on real-time database because we are going to create a database here. So click on create database. So click on next and click on enable. Alright, so our database is set. So we are going to go to the rules area and we are going to change some of this rule. The reason is the present rule here says that we cannot read from our app and we cannot write to the database, and that is not what we actually want. So I'm going to do some modification here. So I will say user can only read or write to this database if they are authenticated, which means that they are logged in, else they should not be able to read or write to the database. So if authentication is not null, user can be able to read, and same goes to the write feature. So for write, okay, so with this now I'll just click on publish. So once user are authenticated, they can actually write or read to this database. All right, so that is set for now. Let's get back to data, and if you look at this place, we don't have any data for now. We don't have any. All right, let's just leave that and head back to Android Studio. By now, okay, that is done. So now let's add authentication. That is the system that allows us to sign in to our app. So I'll click on authenticate using custom authentication. So all I need to do is add the Firebase dependency for that also. So while that is adding, head back to Firebase console and make sure that you've activated authentication. This one, click on it. So once I click on it, I'll come to the sign in method and I want to set, okay, just click on get started. So what I will enable for now is email, password. We have phone, we have sign in anonymously, we have Google sign in, we have Facebook sign in, and so many other. But for now, we're going to be using simple email and password sign in. So I will just have this. Sorry. So I'll click on save, yeah. Okay, so that has been enabled, so user can now log in with email and password. Okay, so that is all for now on what's it called, on Firebase console. So we can head back to our Android Studio. So once this dependency is completed, you can see it's still adding up, then we can continue with our section of coding. Alright, so we have added the Firebase authentication and the Firebase database, and we have used this name so that we'll be able to connect to both of them. So I'll come back here in my code and I'm going to write in the next part of this code. Back again, let's continue with where we stop in our coding. And before I continue, I need to explain these two lines that I've added. All right, so I added the Firebase auth, which is this one, and you'll be wondering what is this used for. Well, this is the main class that is provided by Firebase authentication to undo user authentication tasks like signing up, logging in, and managing user sessions, like when they are logging and log out. Okay, so that is what Firebase Auth is for. All right, so we're going to proceed in this code and continue with the other part. Okay, now before I proceed, let me explain the database reference. That is a kind of class that is being used to access our database when we need to query our database. So let's just continue with our code. So I'll come here after the login redirect. So let me just click on enter here. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to call this class, this Firebase Auth. So I'll say Firebase Auth. You can see that has shown already equals to Firebase. You can see it already suggests the complete code for me. So I'll press enter and I'll just take in the database reference, and this is what I'll be having. I'm referencing this particular roots folder in my database. If you look at my database, you see that I don't have that root folder. Okay, I think I've closed that. I need to open that again. So let me quickly open up my database. So I'll just have Firebase. All right, so while that is opening, let's navigate back to Android Studio. So I will import this class also. Let's import this class so that becomes usable for us. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to set on click listener to my sign up button. That is when user click on sign up button, what happened. So let me just put a comment here and say set on click listener for sign up button. Okay, so I'll say the name I call it up there is sign up button. So I'll say sign up button dot set on click listener. Then okay, this is suggested for me directly, but peradventure if your version of Android Studio is not having this, let me just cut this out and write this all by myself. So I have sign up button dot set, okay, and you have this suggestion pop up, set on click listener. So this very first one, double click on it, then you can see that has entered the result. Inside there I'll be having new on click listener. You can see it here already. It's suggesting that. So new view on click listener. Sorry, I pressed the wrong thing. Let me just say new, and I'm going to select this one on click listener. Then you have all of these shown for you. So inside this I'll be writing this code. Okay, so I'll say string. I'm declaring a string variable, string email equals to email sign up dot get text. What this is saying is I'm creating another string called email that will get the value of text that you have entered in the email field. So I'm also having another string again, string, and that will be to get the password, the content that you have written in the password. Okay, then I want to query this, that when our email or password is empty, what will happen, because user cannot just sign up just by leaving those two fields empty. So I'll say if email is empty or password is empty, then it should perform something. So this is the line. If email is empty, this double line means or password is empty. That is, if any of those fields are empty, then there should be a message on screen as a toast message. It should give us a toast message, please enter email and password, and I want to import the toast class. Okay, so this is all that I have there. Whenever the email and password field is empty and user click on the sign up button, there should be a message on screen saying that enter email and password. So but else, if that is not true, that means that user have entered the information. Else, if that is not true, then you should perform this next line of action. So what will happen is we are going to call on the authentication now. So Firebase Auth. Okay, so we'll be using the Firebase Auth to create user accounts. You can see this, create user with email and password. So whatever email and password the user have entered in the email field and password field, we'll be using it to create user account. So inside this I will have email, password. So that is, if that field are not empty, then it should create accounts with the entered information in the user, email, password field. Okay, then I'm going to have dot add we want to add uncomplete listener to see if the action has been completed. So I'll add uncomplete listener. Excuse me. Okay, so let me just go on with my code on complete listener. Now what this does is it's take the state of our action to know if that has been completed or not. So it returns an error if the action is not completed, and it gives us a value if the action is completed already. So then you'll be wondering which of them are you going to use. So I'm going to use this first one. Okay, so we have create account with user email and password, then add complete listener to listen to the action that user perform in the feed. So let me just go on and continue with my code. So I'll have new uncomplete listener, the first one. Okay, so I can just bring this line to the next line so that you can see all what I'm writing on the screen, so that will be easier for you. Now if the task is successful, that is if user email and password are entered correctly, then what we want to do is to save user data. So we want to be able to save users data. Okay, so this next line that I have here, string user id equals to firebase o.get current user dot the uid, that is the unique identifier for that user, will be gotten as well. So then the next thing I want to do is, I don't need this line, this was automatically generated, so I'll just remove this line. So the next thing is to save user record to the database. Woke up with a spark in my eyes so bright. Every step I take, I'm reaching new heights. Dreaming big is just my daily feed. Nothing stands in the way of what I need. Hurdles fall and walls they crumble. No mountains too tall for me to rumble. Every part of me screams victory. I'm the author of my own story. Nothing's impossible, I tell myself. I can break through and ring the bell. Extraordinary power in these veins. Through the storm, through the rain. I speak my truth loud and clear. With every note I shout a fear. Extraordinary is my middle name, turning sparks into a flame. When the dark tries to cloud my view, I shine brighter, ignore the hue. Doubters may come and doubters may go, but my strength will always show. Nothing's impossible, I tell myself. I can break through and ring that bell. Extraordinary power in these veins. Through the storm, through the rain. Okay, now let me explain these two lines. Now we are calling the database reference, and we are taking the root database in our what's it called, in our database. So we get the user ID, then we create a child root inside this original root, that is inside this user the roots directory. We have an email feed, and it set the value to be the email that user have entered. Then we also have another directory which is row, and we set the default row to be row for every sign up user, which means that for that of admin will be modified in the back end, so that when we want to log in, we can actually know whether it is a user that is logging in or an admin. So that's the purpose of that line. So then after this, we want to actually post a toast a toast message to show that the sign up is successful or sign up actually failed. So the first message I want to have is sign up successful, not sign up failed. So sign up successful. Okay, so once all data has been saved in the database, we want to have password, we want to have sign up successful. So once sign up is successful, it should navigate user back to another activity, so that is take user back to a new screen. Okay, so we want to have new intent. Okay, yeah, intent. Then from this particular page, which is sign up activity, we are going to move them to login activity. So once sign up is successful, user can be navigated back to the login page where they can log in to be able to access the app. Okay, so the next thing I want to have here is finish. Finish means that the current screen, which is the sign up activity screen, we close. Okay, then I want to have else if sign up is not successful, that is if everything did not go well with the registration, then it should show another message, this time around a toast message, sorry, capital letter T, so toast. So this time around I'll be having toast dot make text sign up failed. So that means if the sign up was not successful, it should show us a message that the registration actually failed. Okay, then we want to be able to know what happened that makes the sign up to actually fail. So to do that, I'm just going to add this line, open quotation plus task dot get exception dot get message. This means that we will get the exact error message that caused our sign up to fail. That is what that line is about. So okay, I think that is that. So I'm going to have a semicolon here, and let's see if there's any error in our code. Else without if. Okay, else without if, we're not going to have that. Okay, let's see. Sorry, I don't want to have this. Let me see where the error comes from. Okay, oh, I'm having this line multiple times, so I don't need this. I don't need this. Okay, so for this should be sign up failed. Yep. Okay, so I think that has been settled. So this has been fixed now. So what this line means is that, let me just go back and explain this line. Now for this, starting from the on click listener for the sign up button, we have the sign up button. So when user click on the sign up button, that is what we call set on click listener. We set an action to listen to what happened. When user click on it, we declare an email, a variable called email, to get the value of text that user have entered in an email. Then we declare another string variable password to get the text that has been entered in the password field. Then we say that if the email field is empty or the password is empty, that is if one of them is empty or both are empty, then it should give us a prompt that please enter email and password. Excuse me. Else, if that is not true, that is both fields are filled, then we call on the Firebase authentication. Remember, I stated that the Firebase authentication is actually used to is the class that is provided by Firebase Authenticator to manage sign up, login, and manage user account. So we call on this Firebase Authenticator to create accounts with the user email and password that has been entered. Then we want to know if this action has been completed. So we say if task is successful, then save users data. The reason why we are saving user email and password, email and role, is because whenever user is logging in, we want to know if the role of that user that is logging in. So we want to be able to know if it is a user role, whether it is a user sorry, this should be user, not row, whether it is a user or it is an admin that is logging. So for every user that actually register here, they are assigned the user role, and for the admin we can modify that from the back end. So if the registration is successful, we have sign up successful message, else we have sign up failed, and we are able to get the error. I think what happened, this, there was a line I declared here to get the error. Oh, plus task, yeah, okay. So then we add these parts to get the error why the registration actually failed. So you can get the error like invalid email address, password too short, or whatever. So that is what that does. So with this, we have completed the sign up activity. So I'm going to stop on this part and we'll continue in the next episode of this video. So feel free to compile your app. How do you go about compiling your app? Just go to the file menu, then click on build. Click on build and click on build APK. So once you finish building the APK, you have it in a particular directory. If you have any error, please drop your error in the comment section. I will explain how to fix your error. So in the next part of this video, we look at how to create a login page, then from the login page access the home page, then how we can add our daily quote or daily motivational text, and how we can automate it to even make it pop up by itself for every day. That is, you can actually create motivational quotes for 3 months and just relax. Then for each day, on every day, the code for that very day will just pop up on user's phone and they can read to motivate themselves. And if you have created another version of this app, yours might be daily prayer app, yours might be daily quotes, yours might be daily motivation. So you can, I will also guide you on how you can create those daily motivation, those daily prayer points, so that users, when they open the app every day, they have to be able to prophesy based on the prayer point or encourage themselves with the motivational text or quotes. And in the login activity, when we'll be getting there, we also talk about how to make user logged in once and for all, which means that when user log in, they don't have to log in each time they come to the app, because that is kind of boring. It is not like a fintech app that they have financial asset they want to protect. So we want them, once they are logging on a device, they don't have to log in again except they log out. So we look at that in the next episode of this video. So if you find this video very helpful in the way that I have detailedly explained line by line section of this code, please give it a thumbs. And if you are yet to subscribe, please hit the subscribe button. You have a friend that want to learn tech skill app development, please invite them to subscribe to this channel. So thank you and do have a wonderful time. So I'll see you in another episode of this video, and till then, do have a wonderful time.